Police almost closed the case within the first hour. A missing woman, a calm husband. No signs of forced entry, no blood, no screams heard by neighbors. Nothing broken, nothing stolen, everything looked clean. Too clean. Detective Nolan had worked homicide for 16 years, and he learned something early. Real crime scenes are messy. Real panic leaves traces. But this house felt staged, like someone cleaned every inch twice. The husband sat inside the interrogation room, completely calm. No shaking hands, no tears, no anger. He answered every question perfectly. His wife never came home from work. He waited all night, called her friends, then called police. Simple, normal, believable. But one detail bothered Nolan immediately. The husband never asked if she might still be alive, not once. Most spouses cling to hope, even fake hope. This man skipped straight to acceptance. Outside, rain pounded against police cruisers. Crime scene lights flashed across wet windows. Officers searched the property again. Still nothing. Then dispatch received a call from a neighbor. She sounded nervous. Said her Ring camera recorded something strange the night before. Nolan drove there immediately. The woman replayed the footage carefully. 9:14 p.m. The husband exited the house calmly, walked to his car, drove away, exactly like he told detectives. Nothing suspicious, case almost ended right there. Then the second timestamp appeared, 11:03 p.m. Someone walked out of the same house again, same jacket, same walk, same face, but the car was already gone. Nolan leaned closer to the screen. The figure stopped directly in front of the camera, then looked straight into the lens, like he knew it was recording. The figure disappeared briefly behind the side gate. Seconds later, he returned dragging something heavy across the driveway, wrapped tightly in dark plastic. Nolan froze the footage. His stomach dropped. The husband claimed he never returned home, but the camera proved otherwise. Police brought him back immediately. This time, he smiled when he entered the interrogation room. A strange smile, like he already knew how the story would end. Nolan placed still images from the footage onto the table. The husband barely reacted. Said cameras malfunction, said shadows distort faces. Then Nolan showed him frame 47. The dragging motion, the shape beneath the plastic. The husband stopped smiling just for a second. But Nolan saw it. Fear. Real fear. That's when detectives tore through the house again. Walls, floors, garage, attic, nothing. Then one officer noticed fresh scratches near the basement door. Deep scratches, like something heavy had been dragged recently. The basement was locked. From the inside, Nolan frowned. That made no sense. Officers forced the door open and the smell hit instantly. Rot, decay, wet concrete. At the bottom of the stairs, unwrapped tightly in plastic, was the missing wife. Exactly like the footage. Case closed. Or at least, that's what everyone thought. Because later that night, Detective Nolan replayed the camera footage again and noticed something nobody else saw. Right before the husband walked away, he paused, tilted his head slightly, like someone inside the house whispered his name. But according to police, nobody else was there. The next morning, Detective Nolan returned to the basement alone. Something still felt wrong. The husband confessed nothing, only repeated the same sentence. "You don't understand that house." The basement looked smaller during daylight. Concrete walls, old pipes, cold air. But Nolan noticed scratches beneath a heavy storage shelf. Fresh scratches. He pushed the shelf aside slowly. Behind it was a hidden metal door. Rust covered the edges. No handle outside, only marks around the frame. Like someone once tried desperately to claw their way out. Backup arrived 20 minutes later. Bolt cutters snapped the rusted chain. The hidden door creaked open. Cold air rushed upward from the darkness below. Not basement air, something deeper, older. A narrow staircase disappeared underground. City blueprints showed nothing beneath the property. No tunnels, No construction records, nothing. Yet the staircase was real. Detectives descended carefully. The deeper they went, the colder it became. Their flashlights revealed dirt walls reinforced with rotting wooden beams. Water dripped somewhere ahead. Every sound echoed strangely. Then the tunnel opened into a large underground chamber, and everyone froze. An old metal chair sat bolted to the floor. Leather restraints hung from the armrests. Fresh scratches covered the metal. Not old scratches, recent ones. Then detectives noticed the photographs, hundreds of them, pinned across the wall. Missing persons, men, women, teenagers, some dating back 40 years. Every victim disappeared within a few miles of the house. Nolan's chest tightened. This wasn't one murder. It was decades of disappearances hidden underground. Then he saw something worse. One photograph showed the husband standing beside a missing woman from 20 years earlier, smiling, like they knew each other. Police searched the chamber carefully, under piles of debris. They discovered dozens of cassette tapes, each labeled with dates, some older than Nolan himself. A dusty tape recorder sat nearby. One detective pressed play. Static exploded through the chamber, then a terrified woman's voice echoed underground. "He's still inside the walls." The tape cut suddenly. Silence returned. Nobody moved. Then, a breathing sound echoed directly behind them. Every detective spun around instantly. Nothing there, only darkness. Flashlights swept across the tunnel walls. Then one beam caught movement at the far end. A pale figure standing motionless, watching them. The figure vanished instantly. One detective whispered, "What the hell was that?" Nobody answered, because nobody knew. The detectives continued deeper underground. The tunnels twisted beneath the neighborhood like a maze. Some sections looked ancient, others reinforced recently, like someone kept expanding the tunnels over decades. Then Nolan looked down. Fresh footprints appeared in the dust, bare feet, wet, small. The detectives stopped moving immediately. The footprints continued forming slowly ahead of them, one step at a time, as if someone invisible walked directly through the tunnel. Then the wall beside them collapsed violently. Dust filled the air. Flashlights shook wildly. Behind the broken wall, human bones spilled out. Dozens of skeletons hidden inside the tunnels. Forensics later confirmed the horrifying truth. The remains belonged to multiple missing persons connected to the town over 40 years. The husband wasn't the beginning. He was only part of something larger. Then suddenly, every flashlight failed. Darkness swallowed the chamber completely. Someone screamed. Radios burst with static. Nolan reached blindly through the black and felt a cold hand resting on his shoulder. Not grabbing, just touching. He spun around. Nothing there. The lights flickered back on seconds later. One detective was gone. Completely vanished. Only his flashlight remained rolling slowly across the dirt floor. Panic exploded instantly. The remaining detectives ran toward the basement staircase. But when they reached the exit, heavy chains sealed the door from the outside. Fresh chains. Someone locked them underground. Then they heard it. A voice echoing faintly through the tunnel. The missing detective, calling Nolan's name softly, over and over. The voice moved deeper underground, like something was luring them forward. Then the cassette recorder activated again by itself. Static crackled through the darkness. A new voice whispered slowly, "You should have left it buried." Above them, backup officers finally forced entry into the house. They heard screaming beneath the basement floor. Officers rushed underground immediately. The chain door broke open. Police stormed into the hidden chamber. But it was empty. No detectives, no bodies, nothing. Only abandoned flashlights rolling slowly across the floor by themselves. And on the wall, written in fresh red letters, was a message. "He is still here." Police never released the footage from that night. The surviving officers refused interviews. The house was demolished 6 months later. Concrete sealed the underground tunnels permanently, but locals still whisper about the property during heavy rainstorms. Because sometimes late at night, people hear voices beneath the street, calling their names softly from underground, and every few years, someone disappears again.